My son found out his mom got married and lost it on me. He's only 13. Already a tough age on a kid starting those teenage years. My ex-wife cheated on me 6 years ago. When we divorced, she didn't fight for custody. She settled for visitation but didn't keep up with those. My son was only seeing her maybe once or twice every few months. It was obvious she wasn't interested in being present in his life, and he's done therapy a few years back to deal with that. Some family on my ex's side never agreed with what she did, and they try to be involved in his life. He wanted to spend a few days at his aunt's this week and then come back home on Thanksgiving. But then she called me about him wanting to come home early. He was serious the whole ride. He kept ignoring me the entire time and looked so pissed off. Well, earlier when we got home I asked him again what's wrong, and he yelled at me. One of his cousins accidentally let it slip that his mom got married. Then he looked for her online and saw her Facebook account. She did in fact get married and apparently had a baby a few months ago. Same man she cheated with. My son told me it's my fault she left and he hates me. He said a lot of things. He cried and he went to his room. He doesn't want to come out and I don't know what to do. Look, it hurts what he told me, but I know he just needed to lash out at someone. My concern is I don't know what to do to make this better. This news is a surprise for me too, and honestly I'm lost on how to handle it. He's in pain right now. Understand Reddit probably isn't the best place to ask, but I've read a few posts on this sub. Often I do see some pretty good advice. He's not in therapy anymore, so it'll be a while to set up one for him. That's even if he wants to. I'm looking for something I can do right now that he's in this dark place, because it hurts to see him in this kind of pain. He's a sweet boy and he didn't deserve this. Someone please help. Edit. Wanted to add he's already known for a few years what led to our divorce, so he's aware that she'd cheated. Poor kid is basically going through the worst possible dilemma he can be going through at his age. Why does mom love her new baby, but not me? Now he's wondering if there's anything wrong with him. Wondering what he did to deserve this. And it's easier to just lash out at you. Of course it's not his fault. He didn't do anything to deserve this. But combined with puberty and all those hormones, it's not good. Second, the comments saying to try and find activities that he's always enjoyed. It can also help if he has someone that he trusts in his life come talk with him about it. And see if he'll open up. Just keep being the best dad you can be right now. Hey, I'm so sorry you all are going through this. Couple things. 1. Is there someone he trusts that can have a convo with him? This is pretty important so he can share his feelings too. You should talk to him as well, letting him know you'll always love and be there for him no matter what. 3. Get him into counseling ASAP. 4. Try to get him into youth groups so he has peers that he can relate to. 5. Try to find a creative outlet for him, e.g. art, music, so he can let those feelings out. He's very fortunate to have you. His mom is a piece of shish. It's finally sinking in that it's not that his mother didn't want to be a mom. She just didn't want to be his mom. He's hurt and destroyed all over, just like he was when she left. In his mind there are only two options. It's either your fault for diving her away, or he just isn't worthy of her love. He can't see it's actually option 3. That she is just a piece of shit person. You go into his room and you hug him and hold him and you tell him you love him and always will. That if he needs to hate you and scream at you and be angry and emotional, that it's okay and you can be that for him while he needs it and won't be mad. That you're always there to talk, because no matter what, you will never leave. That if he ever wants to talk with a therapist, you will make that happen. Then you give him time to work it out. You be his proverbial punching bag so he can work out his emotions. You just be there. Is there something he enjoys you guys doing together? Or maybe you can order in his favorite takeout for dinner? Not sure what time it is where you are. He may just need some space. That's gotta be a pretty big blow considering there is a new kid. Just be there when he's ready to talk and be open. I'm sure he didn't mean to hurt you too, and I'm glad you see it that way. Hang in there, op. I know it can't be easy on you either. May be good to look into therapy and set it up, but give him the choice if he wants to go too. He's 13 and grieving. It must hurt so much that his mom abandoned him and is starting a new family. He can't be mad at her because she's gone. So you're the next target. The best thing that you can do for him is let him feel his emotions right now. Even if he's dealing with them in a not great way because he's 13. He needs to feel all of that anger and sadness if he's eventually going to process it. Reassure him that how he's feeling is okay and that being angry and sad is fine. For tonight, maybe buy his favorite meal tonight and leave it outside of his door with a note telling him you understand, love him, and he can take all the space he needs. Don't try to force a conversation until he's ready. My advice as a fellow dad of kids a bit older than yours, 16 and 22. Be there for him. Whatever you do, don't get mad at him. Let him have his feelings. It sounds like you are doing a great job of that so far. Don't force a conversation, but do let him know that you love him. You understand how he feels. You were hurt by her actions. 2. You two are a team and you will always be there for him. You are willing to talk with him about it whenever he wants to. You might write these things on a note and slip it under his door. That way he can see it without have to engage with you until he is ready. You might also allow him to eat in his room until he is ready to re-engage with you. That gives him space to process things in peace until he is ready to talk. If he were my kid, I would bring him food with a small note included with each meal. And ask him to write me notes letting me know if she needs anything. That would be a safe way to gently re-engage and let him know that you love him even though he is upset with you right now. My parents divorced and remarried. It was difficult. My advice to you is to be open, direct and honest with your son about what happened without vilifying your ex. He is old enough to know the honest truth about what she did. He does not need to know every single nasty detail. But if he asks a specific question, I think you should answer it truthfully. He does not need to hear you bitch about what an asshole she is. Why does he think it is your fault that his mom cheated? Did his aunt say anything to defend the mom when he found out? I'd try to ask her some questions without letting him hear you to understand where this is coming from. Then, bring him his favorite dinner, food and let him know that you love him. No matter what. That you are sorry. That you two just found out and you'd like to understand him better. Let him do the talking whenever he is ready. There is not much you can do really but wait. At that age it is easy to misplace anger and lash out to parents. You seem like a very very nice and understanding dad. Talk to him. This happened to my little sister. My parents got divorced and my dad remarried the woman he cheated with. Your kid's mom is delusional and only cares about herself obviously. Not his feelings. Be real about that. It's unfortunate but actions speak louder than words. He's mad and just needed someone to lash out at, but explain to him that it's nothing you did. That you are happier now. That she cheated on you. Tell him you understand where he's coming from and tell him you're here for him and that no matter what happens with him and his mom, you're his dad and you love him and just want him happy. Let him be upset and let him vent to you. He has every right to be pissed. He feels betrayed. You're right. He's lashing out. He probably feels like he isn't good enough. Because he has now learned that his mother ditched him and started a new life with a new child. He lashed out at you likely out of convenience. I doubt he actually believes you're to blame. Or he wouldn't have wanted to come home. Validate his emotions. Hug him and tell him that you understand he's hurt and confused and angry. And that it's okay to feel that way. That you love him and you'll always be there for him. That he isn't to blame for the path his mother chose. Things like that. And I'd definitely offer the option to resume therapy. Maybe when he's ready to talk you can remind him that regardless of what his mother chose, you chose him. That you would never regret that decision for a moment and that it was ultimately for the best for both of you even if he can't see it now. Remind him it's okay to be angry or to cry or experience whatever emotions he's experiencing. That they are valid. That they will not stay there forever. And that you'll be there to help him through that whole process. Nothing can take that pain away. All you can do is show up when he's ready to talk. Getting out of the house and doing something fun for a whole day. Just you two may also help. And you've already figured out the long-term plan. My daughter is 13 and her mom decided that heroin and her junkie BF was more important. I've had custody of her since she was 3 and her mother isn't in the picture. She has these moments also. It hurts my feeling just as you are feeling, but she has no one to lash out that understands besides me. When she get upset she takes it out on me and a few days go by and we talk it out. At this age with puberty in the mix it's hard for them to understand and control their feelings. My advice is to get him into therapy again. My daughter is in and it helps her so the lashing out has shown down a lot but still happens. I just let him know you're here no matter what and I give her time to herself. Be the rock. Be the strong dad. In time he will understand it was never you.
Edit typo.
Give him the talk. Be direct and straight about all details without bashing your ex. There is no need to hide anything from him at his age and it's about time for him to learn about self-respect and self-love before anything. I grew up in kind of the opposite situation. My dad cheated on my mom. Many times. And he fought like hell for custody and won. I later learned just to spite her. In a messy and bitter divorce. There were quite a few times growing up where I would ask one of them why they got divorced and they would both point me to the other. I understand now that back then neither really liked the other at this point and they were content to just point the finger at each other. But as a curious kid it drove me nuts. It wasn't until I was almost 30 that my mother finally told me a fraction of her side of the story. She's told my wife more than me. In a desire to protect my father's and my relationship. My brother disowned my father upon hearing it all. But my wife knew I would want to know. I know I would have really appreciated if one of them had sat down with me and given me their side of the story. If I was in your shoes. No matter how mad your kid is I would see if I could sit him down and just get him to listen. If he wants to fuck around with something while I just talked. As long as he didn't have headphones on or volume up and could hear me. I'd just open way the fuck up to him. I'd start with a disclaimer like, now that you are 13 and becoming an adult I think I can talk to you about why your mom and I got divorced like 2 men. I can't promise you that you will like this story. And it is colored by my experience. But I will promise to tell you the entire truth as I know it. I am not trying to ruin your image of your mother or try to win you over or anything. But instead just retelling events from my perspective so you can have all the information I can provide on the matter. You can do with that information what you will. Then just tell the story. Close with something like, if you ever want to talk about this. Or anything else for that matter. I'd be happy to listen or answer questions anytime. Tell him you love him. And then deal with whatever comes. He does not hate you. He does not hate his mother. He is just very angry and disappointed. It feels like his mom just replaced your family for something better. In his mind. Because he still tries to understand why she left him. What is wrong with him? That he was left by her. He does not understand. And you were there to swallow the pain. You should tell him this. Even if he does not want to listen or see you. I know you are hurting and I will never understand this kind of pain. But I will try to carry it for you as much as I can. I don't care if you hate me. Because I am your father and I will not leave you because I love you with all my heart. We will always be a family. You are perfect in every way you are. And everyone who has you in your life is such a lucky person. This breaks my heart. His mom getting married and having another child without telling him is a total slap in the face. That kind of rejection has to be incredibly painful. It's understandable that he is lashing out. Therapy is an obvious but not immediate answer. To help him cope now, I'd try to tailor a response to where he finds enjoyment or comfort. Maybe it's spending time with family. Maybe it's friends. Maybe it's video games. Maybe it's going hiking or playing catch. Maybe it's wallowing in it and eating ice cream until he is sick. The goal is to be supportive and show him he is loved and has a family that cares for him. His mother may have given birth to him, but in my mind she isn't family. No one who treats their child this way deserves to be called that. Ride the storm as much as you can whilst setting hard boundaries if his words or behavior need them. He just found out the abandonment by his mother got legally rubber stamped and will be all over the shop emotionally. My kid's mom bailed in similar, and let's just say my kid treated me like shit for a good while. Thankfully I knew it was just the hurt she didn't want to communicate to me over her mom that was being projected my way. Imagine the anger you had to deal with seeing your child's other parent bail. Then put that in a 13 years old and imagine trying to process that at this age. When I went through this, I just made sure my kid knew her dad wasn't going anywhere and she never had to worry about still having a home where she was wanted. Whatever you do, don't push any discussion out of him. Let him talk about it. Or not. When he's ready. I don't have much to add beyond other commenters. Obviously you are not at fault. It may take until he's older for him to see things as they really are. But there is one thing I wanted to note. At his age, his opinions are going to be very susceptible to the opinions of those who he trusts but that are not his parents. Only you apply. In this case, that could be a good thing. Say if a girlfriend tells him what his mom did was horrible. On the other hand, you say that he spends a bit of time with various people from his mother's family. Although they love him and want to spend time with him. And that's great. I wonder if they are more partial to their family, his mother, than you? Could they be softening what she did privately to him at your expense? I don't want to make you paranoid. But perhaps you should be wary of that. He's a kid. And he's understandably angry. I wouldn't worry that he'll keep taking it out on you. He's doing that now because you're his safe place. Unfortunately, there's also nothing that can be done to fix things. You might want to acknowledge that. 13 is old enough to understand that sometimes things are so broken they can't be put back together. Your marriage was one of those things. This hurt he's feeling is one of those things. It can't be fixed. He will just have to go through his feelings about it to get to a place where things are okay again. Whatever therapist you had him see before, you should probably make a new round of appointments. This is a major discouragement to a child. He needs someone other than just you to talk it through with. A therapist is an outside party that can help put things into perspective in a way that you likely can't because you're too close to the situation. Not sure what it'll take, or if it's even possible, but somehow make sure he understands that it's not his fault. He may be blaming it all on you, but inside, he's internalizing the idea that he just isn't worth sticking around for. That he probably doesn't deserve his mother's love and attention. He doesn't need it. Hell, he never even wanted it in the first place. That he's fine on his own. And though that may sound brave and level-headed, and it may comfort you to know that your son can be resilient in the face of tragedy, fact is, he just isn't equipped to navigate such philosophical questions on his own. And he is likely to develop an abnormal attachment style and toxic coping techniques. Healthy coping techniques and attachment styles are essential. They dictate the way we act and the way we react to stressful situations in our social lives. And the way we treat ourselves when no one's watching. To build a mental model of proper social interaction, we need examples of functional, healthy relationships that cannot be found in school, film, or print media. If one day you find that your son has become a nightmare to deal with, not due to his temper, but to his uncanny ability to effectively win almost any argument through the use of logic alone, you'll know then that you are too late to save him from the dark vortex of moral relativism. Hearing this news, he probably felt like he instantly isn't good enough and isn't loved by anybody. Constantly reassure him and comfort him, do things with him that he enjoys, and let him know you are in his corner and that you are not going anywhere, that you love him beyond the moon and back, and that you will be his rock into your last dying breath. He has your word on that, and continue to let him now say you will guide him in the right light, and that he can still come to you and express his feelings and see how he feels. He lashed out because he is hurt, and it's not the fact that she got remarried, it's the fact that she had another child. That's what got him the most, is that she didn't want me, so she went ahead and had another child. That's what got him the most. And what did your ex say when you called her? I saw by one of your comments that she said that her family was estranged from her for years, so she doesn't even know how her family found out anyway. It was up to her to tell your son. I think you and her and him need to do family therapy and come to a healthy medium and co-parent. It's clear he wants his mom around, and I think you need to call her and express to her on his behalf that he does want to hang around, and that he's very hurt and disappointed and distraught that I didn't fight for him talking about your ex-wife, and you just had a new baby again talking about your ex-wife. I think once you express that to her, if your son is open to it, have them talk. You can be a sounding board sitting right beside him, but have him express to his mom how he feels. Your ex is a piece of shit, always will be a piece of shit, for abandoning her child and put a man over her child. That's disgusting, flat out disgusting. You know, discuss that with your support system, your family, your brother, and see what they think, and if they think that's a good idea, keep us updated. Okay. He is going to be okay, he's just really hurt and upset.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. ThrowRAkiddoadvice is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.